Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome everybody out to the 2023-2024 Fairfield Leadership presentation, final presentations, and graduation ceremony. So we've had a great year. This program has been going on since 1985, believe it or not. So it's got a long history in Lancaster and Fairfield County of producing many, many leaders. We estimate that we've had over 600 people go through this program in the last 35 years or so. So it's definitely a program we're proud of, and really glad to be able to provide this kind of training and partnerships for our community. If I haven't met you before, I'm Travis Markwood, president of the Lancaster Fairfield County Chamber of Commerce, and we've had a great year, as I mentioned before. I think we had over 34 students this year, or thereabouts, and most of them are here today. There's a few that are missing because of illnesses and such, but I think we've got everybody here. Just a couple housekeeping items before I get into some thank yous. We do have lunch for everyone here, presenters and any employer that's here supporting their participants. It's in the room. You can see the window right back in the corner. It's just next door. Margie will be back there kind of assisting everyone. Yeah, make sure you grab food. After we get the presentations going, you can go grab some food in between the presentations before you leave, however you'd like to do it. It's going to just be kind of come and go, and that's the same way with our presenting groups as well. Eat whenever you kind of feel like it, okay? I do have some thank yous. I first of all want to thank the participants in Fairfield Leadership. It's a time commitment. You know, it's once a month from September through April. And we have the pleasure of having these participants with us from 9 a.m. to 12 on a Friday each month, and so it is a time commitment. And not to mention, then they're divided into strategic work teams where they're assigned a nonprofit, which you're going to see their presentations today, and they meet outside of the class, and they also meet with their nonprofit to assist them, and you'll get a little bit better feel of what that looks like during their presentations. So big thanks to our participants. Let's give them a round of applause. And of course, it wouldn't be possible to have our participants without the support of our employers that have sponsored one of their employees to participate in the program, allowed them to spend the time that they do with us throughout the year. So a big round of applause to the employers that have folks here. We also have some real strategic partnerships when it comes to the content and training of our program throughout the year. And I'd like to thank them as well. So first of all, I'd like to thank Janet Cooper with Fairfield Medical Center. She helps us with one of our first trainings of the fall, the Strength Finders training. So thank you, Janet. I would also like to thank Dr. Sanel Bach, who is Wellness with Sanel. She did our Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging training this year. I'd like to also thank Matt Weidman with Fairfield Federal. So thank you, Matt. He always does a great presentation for us as well. And of course, Dr. David Uhl, who serves double duty. He does some training for us and serves as one of our mentors for the program. So thank you, David. Christian Glacier, of course, as well. She helps with some of our presentations and training and also serves as a mentor to our program. So we thank Kristen. And of course, I want to thank our chamber team for helping us out today, and with some marketing and some logistics. But most of all, in particular from our chamber team, I want to thank Cheryl Barber. She is runs our program. She's the point person for the program. So I really appreciate Cheryl's attention to this program and its successful. Its recent success is really an attribute to her management of the program. So let's give a round of applause to Cheryl. Big thank you today. Also, each student will be receiving certificates from the Fairfield County Commissioner's Office as well as the City of Lancaster. So we thank those entities for providing some certificates that go along with their certificate of completion as well. So The way that we're going to do this, I'll be calling each team up here. They have about 5 to 10 minutes, or I should say 10 minutes, to present their presentation. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you with the 5 minutes there, guys. And then you'll have to kind of hang with me here, because I'll have to shut presentations down and open them, and who knows, with technology how that goes. I wish I had a younger person sitting right beside me to help me with the laptop. But anyway. So big thanks for everybody being here, and we'll go ahead and kick off the first group. We partnered with AHA, a hands-on Adventures Children Museum, this year, and so I'd like to invite our strategic team up that worked with AHA this year.
I know, good job.
Good job.
Hey, everybody. I will speak in the microphone. Already screwing up already. First, can everybody hear me? All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Anthony Aikini. I am with Fairfield County Economic Development. Also from my team here is Stephanie Taylor, Habitat for Humanity, and Matt Hearn, Vinton County National Bank. We also had Dustin Wharton and Sarah Clendenin. I believe I'm saying her last name correctly. Unfortunately, they both could not be here today, but they were a very big part and helpful and instrumental in this presentation with AHA Children's Museum. So you're probably all asking, what is and who is AHA? Has anyone ever been there before? Anyone familiar with AHA? Okay, then you're probably not asking what is AHA or who are they, since everyone here seems to know. But they're an interactive children's museum designed for kids 6 months to 8 years old, but the sweet spot's usually around 8 years old for their age group. They have a bunch of different exhibits there that cover all kinds of different topics: science, technology, art, nature. And they make learning fun for kids. So Julia Hilty is the current executive director. She's here somewhere in the back, right back there in the corner. So thanks for coming, Julia. We appreciate it. And she was great to work with and provided a lot of great information, and she does a great job over there at AHA. Just a little quick timeline of the history of the organization. So in 2006, a group of moms kind of came together with this idea to put this museum together. They saw a need to provide some place for kids to go and learn, where learning was fun. As we all know, learning usually is not fun, so they wanted to provide a place for kids to go where they could learn, be interactive, hands-on, with all kinds of different science and technology and all kinds of different things. January 2007, they joined the Association of Children's Museums. Also in 2007, they got their 501c3. 2008, they went to their original location, which was South Broad Street in Lancaster. And then 2018, they moved to their current location, where they are back behind the mall, River Valley Mall. So what they do, they have a lot of different exhibits. As I said earlier, they have 60 hands-on exhibits at least that cover science, technology, art, nature, and it's really a fun educational way for kids to learn about all these different things. This is just one example. They also have that cool little fish tank that's right there. They have a bank, a build-a-house exhibit, a bulldozer exhibit, theater, dino dig. So they have all kinds of different things the kids can do while they're there, and it's a really fun time. And another exhibit they have is the natural playscape that they have out back. That I don't know if any of you have ever seen that while you've been there, but it's really cool, and it provides kids a chance to learn about nature and kind of really be hands-on while promoting environmental awareness and an appreciation for nature. So kids that really maybe might not have time to go out into nature, things like that, they can go to AHA, learn all about wildlife, nature, and be hands-on and really have a fun time. And there's all kinds of different activities and exhibits depending on the day when you're there that they have going on. And really, another cool thing about AHA is that it serves kind of as a place for families that maybe don't get to connect. They can come together. It's a place where they can have fun, learn together, and it's very affordable. It's only, $8 for admission per person. So it's an affordable way for people in the community to come together, have fun, and learn. And now I am going to pass it off to, I believe, Stephanie. She'll talk about some of the challenges they faced that we discussed while we were working together.
Thank you. So Julia and our team met to really understand what are the goals and things that she felt needed some help with. And these were the three things. There's probably many, as we all know. The nonprofits, there's always something, right? So with these three things were the focus for our group. The first being a mortgage. So the current space that they are in has a mortgage on it, and it's pretty significant at this time. And as we all know, when you can free up any kind of capital, that will really help with many other projects that you have down the line. So that was the first challenge that was presented to us. The second was just a time management thing, and not from the standpoint of managing her specific time as an executive director completely. However, just time in general, it's a commodity that's really hard for all of us to find. But they do only have 2 staff people on top of her own time that she spends as an executive director, 2 full-time and 1 part-time, I believe. And then also the volunteer side of things. So anytime volunteers can be utilized, that can always help. But these were the 3 main focus points that we looked into after sitting down and talking with Julia. So we're going to start with the first set of solutions that we came up with. So, Matt.
So as we first came together, we were brainstorming on what kind of ideas that we could come up with to help AHA. And one of the first iterations was the idea of a corporate sponsorship. And as we kept talking and developing our ideas, that really turned into more of a corporate relationship. We don't want a business to just come in, write a check, and go on with their day. We want, I'm sorry, what? Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh. We really wanted those businesses to be a part of that community. Personally, as a banker, we have what is called the Community Reinvestment Act. We are encouraged to go out and serve on boards and be active in our communities. And I think every business around the county, state, local, what have you, is really interested in that as well. It's good PR points for everybody involved. So when you really develop that idea, you're going to look at, an opportunity to engage from the standpoint of someone that works in an office every day. I know what it's like to have small children. I know what it's like to be helping parents who have small children in their office. You're trying to keep them engaged. You're trying to keep them occupied. But as a corporate relationship, we can have the opportunity to hand them and say, hey, look, I understand this is a boring time, but when you're done, here's some tickets that you can go over, have some time with your kids, let them burn that energy, learn, and grow. As a business, unfortunately, if you're not growing, you're dying, right? You need that revenue to keep your doors open. Profit, non-for-profit, you gotta do it, because if you're not making enough revenue, you're not paying your bills. And those utilities, those costs of keeping those doors open are very important to engaging the community as a whole. So rather than a corporate sponsorship at the check, like I said, you have the opportunity to also have a daily sponsorship. Water, gas, electric, etc. So you look at that as a business and say, hey, we're gonna have a 2-way dialogue as both a business and as a nonprofit. Parents are going to come in and they're going to walk up and say, hey, look, Bremen Bank is the sponsorship for today. That paid for the electric, the gas, the water. All of that capital that would have been spent paying those utilities can then be turned into solving their problems, such as their rather large outstanding mortgage. A lot of opportunity for growth, a lot of opportunity for community and relationships as a whole. Outside of that, I think we're going to switch back to Stephanie. We had a couple people out today, as we said. And so she's going to come up with the last few for you.
So we mentioned the corporate sponsorship side of things, and now I want to talk a little bit more about the other fundraising and solutions that can help Julia and her team to work towards getting funds to help pay for whatever she may need that for. So one of the things that we talked about coming up with was a yearly fundraising event, something that happens every single year that is the same type of event, and that allows corporate sponsors, individual sponsors, the families that participate at AHA, new families that may not know anything about it. It's an opportunity for AHA to get out there on the calendar every year that we know in the community AHA has this event that everyone's going to show up to because we want to support. So it's a great way to kind of have that continued interaction from the community as a whole to help fundraise for what she needs. And then utilizing her current board is another opportunity. Define the roles that you want to see from the board. For those who may not be a part of a board or have never been a part of a board, there's multiple types of boards, and I think it's very important for her board to understand, like, is this going to be a working board, or is this going to be something that we have people on the board that are going to be fundraising for us. So helping her to define those roles and delegate assignments that they may have based on those role redefinition of the roles. Excuse me. Another great organization we have here in our community is the Fairfield County Foundation, and it's a fantastic opportunity for every new nonprofit in our community to be hooked into. There's ample opportunity to get grants straight from the foundation, but also it's a connection into other opportunities for fundraising through their foundation. It could be through the DIE, the new Diversity, Inclusion, and Empowerment grant that's been set up over the last couple years. There's opportunity for an endowment fund. So this would be a great opportunity that we hope that Julia and her team can get with Fairfield County Foundation and understand how it could benefit them in the long run. We also talked about potentially seeing where she can work with a grant writer. Grant writers are very helpful for finding grants that you may not know about. So there's tons and tons of grants out there that are very specific sometimes and very wide open, and these grant writers have the experience behind them to know what to look for, where to go to, that can find and obtain funds for her that she may not even know about. And it gives her the opportunity to free up time so that she can focus on finding volunteers, like we talked about, that time management piece. They see 32,000 people last year alone. So if you can think about 32,000 people coming through their facility, there's a lot of other tasks that have to be taken care of, cleaning and reorganization and replacement of products that they have, like in the fun little kitchen area, that those toys get destroyed. Those of you who have kids, you understand. And so having her time freed up to focus on what she needs to do for the operations and the things happening, finding volunteers that she can be focusing on recruiting and social media, and those focuses can be more versus her having to write grants. And then a future possible partnership with the Hocking County Children's Museum. There is a new children's museum in Hocking County. It's great for their community, but it could also be a benefit to our community from a partnership standpoint. So one of the ideas we had, which we utilize at Habitat, is a passport. So there's opportunities for them to see about events that they could co-collaborate on, or hey, this passport is something that every time you go to Hocking County, get it stamped. Every time you come here, get it stamped, kind of like your coffee card, right? Every time you get it stamped, you get a something after it's full. So just really getting creative with them and understanding how can we utilize both areas to benefit each other, and finding more people. And you never know who might come through both that could then provide, oh, hey, I know this person who's connected to this person who could then connect you to that person, and now you have funding or more volunteers or anything. And it's just that networking and collaboration that can be key. So now we'll open it to questions. We're that good? Okay, cool. I guess we're that good.
All right.
All right. I think we can go ahead and present those.
Thank you. Thanks. Great job. All right, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you.
Well done, guys.
Now we can eat?
Yes, you can eat. And I will encourage everyone, seriously, if in between these presentations, it's all right to come in and out. Go ahead and grab some food. If you don't start grabbing food, I'm going to sick Margie on you, and you don't want that. It is? I know. Sorry, the big unveiling. Let's do. All right, so we can stay on schedule here. I want to introduce our next team. And this is the team that was working with the Baltimore Downtown Restoration Group. So you'll get to hear from them.
Or can I hit enter? Okay. Good morning. Our nonprofit was the Baltimore Downtown Restoration Committee. I am Bethany Ankrum. I work for Fairfield Federal Savings and Loan. Justin Chandler, he works for the City of Lancaster IT Department. Wendell Crosby, he works for Fairfield Medical Center. Rachel Morrissey, she works for the Health Department. And Kayla Speakman, she works for the Auditor's Office. The committee's mission is to preserve the Victoria Opera House located on the corner of 158 and 256 in Baltimore. The Opera House is 3 stories with a basement, and the Village of Baltimore's office is located in the basement, and they rent the space from them. It sat empty for about 50 years, so along with several upgrades to the building, they also have a lot of maintenance to catch up on. So, for example, the roof and the windows during that time leaked pretty badly. They do have specific plans, though, for this year and for the next 4 years. They do host several events around the town of Baltimore and inside of the Opera House, and several of these events double as fundraising opportunities for them. After touring the Opera House and speaking with the board and committee members, we found that they have 3 main challenges. Like a lot of other nonprofits, money, finding volunteers, and getting their name out there and who they are, along with like word of mouth about their events. So we have put together a prop box of sorts of suggestions to help with hopefully overcoming these challenges.
Okay, so one of the first things we came up with were having Baltimore Downtown Restoration apply for grants to help them come up with the money they needed to make all these repairs to the Opera House. So we have a few tips to help them apply for grants and hopefully help them make them more successful. Before applying for any grants, we did recommend that the organization apply to the National Register of Historic Places, as some of the grants we found did require that they are part of this organization to get the grant. Another thing we recommended was that they get a 99-year lease agreement on the building. This shows that the grant organizations that they're committed to long-term making repairs to the Opera House. They do have a extended lease on the Opera House, but we did recommend they go back and reevaluate that and see how long that lease would last and possibly make it longer. I think did I go back one? I think I missed a slide, sorry. Oh, there we go. So the do's and don'ts, sorry about that. The do's and don'ts of applying for grants. So here are just some tips for how to make your grant applying process successful. Make sure you have specific estimates ready for the projects. This shows the grant organizations that you know exactly what you're going to do, you know how much it costs, you know all the parts of what's going to happen. And then another tip would be to follow the grant instructions very explicitly. Make sure that, this can be a deciding factor for the grant. Sometimes if you miss one thing, you could be put out of the running for the grant. So a couple of don'ts is don't be intimidated by the length of the grant applications and don't rush to fill out the application. And then we have a bunch of list of different types of grants that they can apply for that we found for them. A few of those are the Ohio Facilities Construction Commission, Ohio Historic Connection, Children's Theater Foundation, and then the Walmart Spark Good grant. And there's some more, and then our next.
Okay, so as we know, one of the challenges that the organization faces is marketing. So in order to combat that, we have a few tricks for the prop box. So a great way to access websites would be through QR codes. This is an easy way to just scan with your phone and go directly to the website or to that link that you need. So for example, if you were to scan the QR code that's currently on the screen, this would take you directly to the organization's website. QR codes are also a great way to amplify donations. So most of the time, folks walk around with little to no cash on them because of credit cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay, etc. So by having QR codes at events with a direct link to the donation site, there will be a better chance to amplify those donations and touch base with those folks that don't have the cash on them. Most of the time, websites do allow you to create QR codes for free, and you're actually able to customize those. So, for example, this one here on the screen has the committee's or the organization's logo right in the center. So kind of touching base with that to customize and organize all of the different QR codes for like the website, social media sites, everything, and having those displayed at all of the events would be very beneficial and would allow more like of a digital traffic going on. The second trick would be texting. So text messaging is a great alternative to emails. Studies have shown that 98% of texts are actually opened more likely than the 20% that emails are. So it's a great fast way to get content out and reach a lot of people at the same time. Texts are also a great way to send out last minute updates, any kind of cancellations, and just event information in general. And although there is a fee for this service, this would be beneficial to take to the organization, to the board, for consideration, as it would be a great investment in the long run. The last trick would be videos and social media. So the Facebook page has been great at making sure that it's updated. However, the Instagram page only has a couple posts. So whoever's running the social media site can actually connect the two pages together. And when one post is made, it will cross-post to both. And videos are a great way for the organization to engage and connect with their audience and allows them to convey their message by showing rather than just by telling. And it's also a great way to connect with a younger audience, which has been a challenge for the organization. So by utilizing the live features on all the different social media sites like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, streaming at the events will not only promote the event itself, but it will also document those videos on the sites. And another way to utilize the videos for the organization's benefit would be to make a commercial of sorts that can be posted on the website's homepage. This can go over the background of the organization and the message that they want to convey. And then this can be posted on all the different social media sites, as well as shared with other organizations, other sites on Facebook and other social media, and also it can be shown at events that are being hosted. So this can be like a outreach and a informational method.
Hi everyone, I'm Wendell. So, volunteering. So, with any nonprofit organization of this size, it's going to require hands. Goodness, my apologies everyone. It's going to require boots on the ground. It's going to require those people there to get through the projects, the fundraisers, any of the events you put together. So, when we sat with the BDRC, a couple things came to mind. A, there's a few events that they would like to put on and get through that they didn't have enough manpower for. B, they would like to incorporate some of the youth and the younger generation into their projects and whatnot. And then the last one is the longevity and the sustainability of the organization itself. So with this, we have the local troops, the Girl Scouts of Ohio, the Boy Scouts of America, as well as Principal Cade from Liberty Union Thurston High School for the National Honor Society there. And then the local chapter at Lancaster, the Kiwanis group. With the president there, it's a small chapter, so they may not have the capacity all the time, but they're going to do their best, send a lending hand if at all possible, as well as reach out to 3 of the local key clubs, Fairfield Union, Lancaster, and reach out to those younger generations. So looking at the recap of this, we provide 3 things. A, the manpower and support. B, the exposure there with the youth groups and the opportunity to broadcast with the younger generations, gather their thoughts, ideas, creative opinions. And then lastly, the potential for longevity and sustainability. When you incorporate the younger generations, you also incorporate their parents. And with that, the thought being somebody may step up and possibly take over a position that becomes vacant, and we don't see it dissolved in the end. So, and with that, we'll bring Justin.
So again, with with the BDRC, our group decided that the 3 target areas that they needed to focus on was grants, volunteers, and marketing. But why did we decide that? So grants, they allow the BDRC to utilize money not from donors to improve their facility, and that way they're not constantly relying on donors and relying on individuals to constantly tap into those resources. So if they get grants they can use to improve their, they can improve, their aesthetics. What this will do is if people like what they see, they like the improvements. It's a gorgeous opera house already, but people will want to rent that more. So that'll bring revenue and such in. People want to use that space for events. And using the space for events, that'll create opportunities for marketing. That goes back to the video, and I believe you mentioned a commercial. Have your volunteers with their hashtags, all of that stuff. Let the show begin can be, a little tagline for what you guys are doing. People don't show up to things that they don't know about. If your volunteers are there, have them get that word out for that stuff. And again, with the volunteers, start with the younger groups. Scouts and key clubs, active kids usually means active parents. As a coach and a scout leader myself, I wouldn't have done that on my own. I did that because of kids. And that also can build your board members up. That'll allow some of the people that are needing to move on to other things, that'll free them up to do that if they have people under them or volunteers that are willing to step up and do that. And document key volunteers, document event vendors and contacts. That way, if you have a volunteer that runs a certain thing every once in a while, if they leave, you can recreate that process. And as always, this may seem like little steps, but remember, it's okay to dream big, but Rome wasn't built in a day. Thank you.
I thought the way you put the presentation together was so creative. Yeah, Rachel? It was very creative. I thought that was great. As we're switching presenters, I did want to take a moment to thank the Fairfield County Workforce Development Center and the staff here. We've got a couple participants this year that are actually work in this department, but a big thanks to Jenny Sturgeon. I think I let her sneak out of here. She had to be out of here at noon, but if we could give her a round of applause, even though she's not here. I can't tell you how much she helps us, not only with this event, but many, many others that we host out here on a regular basis. All right, at this time, I would like to invite the team up that was working with TeenWorks.
It doesn't move at all, does it? Yeah. And then are we just clicking, I guess, arrow to the right?
You have to pull it off.
Okay.
Just make sure you're kind of close to both.
Okay.
Because this one runs to the cameras.
Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Tony Moore. I work at South Central Power. Good to be with you today. We're going to do some introductions. Our team here.
Hi, I'm Eileen McClellan. I manage our outpatient surgery center for Fairfield Medical Center called Riverview. And another member of our team is Sheila Wolf. She is a supervisor at the Fairfield Health Department.
My name is Carrie Miller, and I'm the Assistant Tax Commissioner at the City of Lancaster Income Tax Department.
Okay, and I think I speak for all of my classmates and fellow presenters when I say thank you to our guests for not sitting in the front row. We really, really appreciate that. As Travis shared, we were partnered with TeenWorks, and we want to take a moment to thank Angela Harris, Executive Director, and her staff and her team for working with us and spending time with us. You're very gracious with your time. We appreciate that. You may not know this, but TeenWorks is located here in this facility, so we had the luxury of access to Angela and her team. And so thank you to the Chamber and possibly the Project Gods for partnering us with a group that's in this building. It was very convenient after our monthly meetings. Wanted to share a little bit about TeenWorks for those who maybe aren't familiar with them. So they're a nonprofit here in Fairfield County, and this is actually their 20th year. So they're celebrating 20 years this year. So congratulations to them. They provide support, training, resources, workshops, education for young people in our community ages 14 to 24. They provide support for both professional and personal goals. And so if you're a potential TeenWorks participant or you are a participant, you're going to be asked to complete an evaluation or an assessment. And you're going to be asked, and those are designed to understand kind of your needs, where you're at in life, professionally, personally, how you can be supported. And then TeenWorks is going to pair their resources with your needs. And so some of the ways they support the young people in their program are through self-awareness assessments, academic enrichment, work experience, pre-employment preparations, whether that be resumes or interview skill development, career counseling, life and relationship skills training, and workshops. There are a number of different ways TeenWorks supports the young people they work with. They also have some different programs that participants are able to be a part of. So Opportunity Works helps participants who have potential employment barriers in working through those. No Kidding Ohio educates participants on what the responsibilities of being a young parent in our society. The Early Childhood Safety Initiative provides safety items for young families like cribs and car seats. And then the Subsidized Youth Employment Program is a job skill and job training program that partners with other organizations in the community. So TeenWorks, some of the target audiences are, of course, going to be the young people that they work with, employers in the community that might be looking for some help, and then educators and administrators who may know of some potential candidates that would be good for the program. So as we got to know Angela and her team more and know TeenWorks more, our approach as a project team was to create tools and resources they could choose to use that would achieve some of the objectives we identified. And so we didn't feel it was our place to change things or recommend changes. We just wanted to add to what was already in place. And so one of those ideas was a testimonial. So we worked with Angela to partner with a graduate of TeenWorks to share a little bit about his experience. We're going to play that for you today, if I pasted this into the presentation properly. So here we go. Okay. 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 No.
Is it on the laptop maybe? Is the laptop muted?
Whatever.
You guys can just reenact his testimony.
Yeah, it's really good, I promise.
And Jenny's not here.
So essentially,
We'll try it.
Teamwork's taught me.
All right. There we go. Now, let's go back.
All right.
Yep.
All right, thank you everybody for your help there. We appreciate that. All right, so we'll go ahead and play our testimonial here.
Teamwork's taught me more life skills than today's educational system. They taught me how to balance my bank account and checkbook, how to apply at jobs by filling out the job applications, how to create your resume to submit with the applications. Teamworks has taught me how to do more research and get in contact with individuals in the career fields that I was looking to pursue. My life wouldn't be the same without Teamworks.
Okay, so, a really good testimonial that illustrates the impact and the wonderful work that TeenWorks does and has on the young people in our community. And so, just one of a few different resources or ideas that we provided and shared with Angela. And so, as we got to know more about TeenWorks, we also tried to pair our background, our experiences, and our skills with the needs we identified and some of the opportunities that they have. And so we really honed in on 3 areas, which is to drive more awareness in the community, identify new ways to generate funding, and then align on a clear vision and mission. And so Carrie's going to come up next and talk a little bit more about some of the things we did to support those objectives.
Okay, and driving more awareness in the community, Sheila worked on this part of the presentation. Let's see. This is a current brochure that TeenWorks has. It's really great. It's really colorful and has all the information about all their different services that they offer, the different programs that they have. It was really good, but we felt like it was a little hard to read, so Sheila did create a new brochure for TeenWorks that just kind of cleans it up a little bit, makes it a little bit easier to read the information and access that information. Also with driving awareness, we suggested some things like a TikTok presence or even the wristbands, like the little rubber wristbands you see the teens wearing. Personalized wristbands are about $50 if you get 100 of them in bulk. So we thought that that would be a good tool as well for TeenWorks to get the word out there on their organization. The other thing was identifying new ways to generate funding. When I looked at TeenWorks' website, their donation page, all that they had there was where you could mail a check to them, reach out to them directly about making donations. They are primarily funded by grants by the government, and with those grants come some requirements that some of their teens don't meet. They don't want to leave any teens out. They want to make sure that they're able to help everybody. So, I helped TeenWorks with establishing a Venmo account for charities. Venmo offers this great program for charities where they get discounted fees. They do create the Venmo QR code for them so that they can put that on flyers on their website. And that's a way for them to get donations quicker, and anybody can do it. It's not just, the grants and everything out there. This is so that they can get additional funds. And also with the Venmo account, it does track all your transactions. So you have all the contact information for your donors. And then you also, of course, you get the QR code that you can put on all your information on your flyers on your website. They also have account statements that keeps track of all their donations. They also have the opportunity to pay bills and whatnot out of this account as well. And then with it being TeenWorks' 20-year anniversary, we did create a flyer for them, trying to get that information out there and also to produce some private donors. The TeenWorks flyer celebrating 20 years of success, we had the idea, please consider donating $20 for their 20 years of success. And we've got that Venmo QR code down there at the bottom. And then we also went ahead and created a Facebook QR code just so it's easier for people to access their information. And TeenWorks is also having an annual event this June. They wanted us to share this information with everybody. It is an event, Fishing with Fathers, just trying to bring more fathers and kids together in the community for a fun day together. And on to Eileen.
Thank you. I think another important tool that we recommended for the future success of TeenWorks was working to integrate their already established core values and mission into the day-to-day fabric, so both internally and externally. Internally, kind of just office space. Sometimes missions can provide a North Star, if you will, to make sure that you're staying on mission. Externally, things like website, social media. So you're sending that consistent message. You can speak to that consistent message. So they had already established great ones. So essentially, our job with this was just to incorporate it into a document. So we went ahead and created that document, and we thought we had suggested that it could be displayed in their office space or placed in their website, again, social media. It's just a great way to succinctly summarize all of the great things they do. As Tony was going over, they really do a lot, but when you're pursuing a corporate sponsorship or even individual sponsorship, they want to know what you do, and they, might not have a whole lot of time or attention span to get into the nitty-gritty details. So this provides a great way for them to understand a way that their money is going to be able to contribute. So in conclusion, this is just a summary timeline of all the work we put in these past 9 months in collaboration with Angela, our executive director of TeenWorks. And really on behalf of the group, just wanted to thank the Chamber for the opportunity to work across professionally, our employers for the time, and also just the opportunity that we had to work with a community nonprofit with such a worthy cause. Thank you.
Congratulations, well done. If you hang for 1 minute, we'll get your certificates to you. Yeah. Great job, guys. All right. Just in case we get towards the end of our presentations today, I want to make sure that the participants in the program stick around because we would like to get one big group picture. So instead of running out of here, and then of course we have an after-hours event as well to celebrate the completion of the program. So feel free to join us over at Outer Belt Brewery for a few hours this afternoon if you have time. Okay, our next group up is the Fox Family YMCA and their presentation on their marketing strategy.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Tiffany Ruckman. I am with Park National Bank. Alongside me, I have Jeff with Crown Cork and Seal, Also, I have Bailey with Fairfield Economic and Workforce Center, and then Seth with the Dupler office. We also had Greg Neville with Fairfield County Health Department. Unfortunately, she's not with us today. She was feeling ill, so we hope she feels better. So welcome to the presentation for the YMCA. The YMCA of Lancaster is a cause-driven organization focused on youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. They utilize resources to serve the community in a variety of different ways, build an inclusive environment where all people are supported to reach their goals, make friends, and improve their community. The YMCA does this through a variety of different programs, including memberships and partnerships. So after meeting with Jason, the CEO of the Y, we had determined that we were tasked with creating a strategic marketing plan that would increase memberships in targeted populations. So with all of that being said, were you aware that they have tumbling classes, cardio drumming, spin classes, summer classes, camps, and lifeguard training? I was not aware of this, so they are just a fraction of the programs that they do have available. So how do we utilize these programs and make them more available through the Family YMCA? So we determined that there were, let me go back here. So they currently do have some marketing strategies already in place. They're currently doing radio, newspaper ads, monthly newsletters, billboards, and Google ads. So we just needed to figure out how do we enhance these strategic marketing plans already in place to increase those memberships. So we came up with 3 focus areas: membership marketing, corporate partnerships, and child care marketing. So I'm going to switch this over to Jeff, and he's going to go over some of our membership marketing.
Thank you. So again, as she said, we were already aware that the YMCA is did I go too far? Is already doing, oh my gosh. I'm usually pretty good at this. There we go. Nope, one more. That one. So again, the Y already does marketing, so it was a little bit of a challenge for us to think about, okay, how do we expand on that? What can we do to improve on that? And through doing some research, we got lucky and came across podcasts as another tool that could be utilized. Roughly 40% of people listen to podcasts, but only about 4% of people are spending advertising money there. And that's important because studies have showed that 75% of people who listen to paid advertisements on the radio don't believe what the people are telling them. But 80% of podcast listeners believe what their podcast host is telling them. And I think that's because podcasts are usually a little bit more personal, and I think something like that could definitely benefit the Y. It also gives the Y the opportunity to access multiple demographics. We partnered with and did some research with iHeartMedia. They offer about 73 different channels that can reach to a whole different type of market and demographic. And then it also gives the Y the opportunity to target specific categories of interest, such as health and fitness, or podcasts related to childcare specifically, which is a target area that they were looking to improve on. So that kind of tool and that kind of access gives them some leeway there as well. Partnering with media such as iHeart gives them that access, and then the influence. If any of you follow influencers in podcasts, that's a great avenue for them to improve. There's roughly 32 million people are listening to podcasts, so we think that's a great return on investment for the money they're available to spend to increase the target areas that they were focusing on. And with that, I'll turn it over.
Another area that we wanted to focus on was the corporate partnerships. Goal was to increase corporate partnerships and increase the number of people that within these companies that are actively using their memberships with the YMCA. So to do that, we had a couple recommendations. come up with a marketing toolkit for these businesses and really provide that through a boots on the ground approach to some of these businesses. So being out and in front of new businesses in town, existing businesses that we've maybe worked with in the past, and provide a marketing kit that's really focused on info on how it benefits the business and individuals. From the business perspective, being able to promote a mental and physical well-being focus within your business really helps out with your workforce, also boosting health and productivity of your workforce. And just being in general, people are much happier with places where that's a focus. This would also include things like brochures and signage, things that can be readily available that really highlight services and amenities that are available through the YMCA, and more than just the gym side of things. So, like we mentioned, the healthcare, the child care, daycare classes, youth sports, etc. And then to boost utilization of existing memberships, provide short monthly newsletters that are to the partner businesses that are designed to be distributed back out to their employees. And these can be things that really highlight upcoming events specifically, also have reminders for, amenities that are there, and maybe highlight one of these, like one per month specifically, where you could say something about upcoming swim lessons, and maybe just in that marketing letter specifically highlight one item monthly. So it's short and can be seen by everybody regularly. And also get feedback from existing members on what they feel like is working and what they feel like their employees are enjoying with their memberships. And with that, I'll pass it over to Peyton.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, so last but not least, we wanted to focus on childcare. So as Tiffany said, my day job is here at the Workforce Center. So our team's mission is to create a strong workforce for Fairfield County employers. Now, if you have any discussion, and I'm sure our employers in the room would agree with this, childcare is one of the biggest barriers to employment in not just our community, but the United States as a whole. So I also just want to provide a little bit of context. So the Ohio Chamber of Commerce did a study a couple of years ago. They found that the cost of childcare in Ohio is 104% of the cost of housing. So really, when we're looking at folks that already have some barriers to entering the workforce, the cost of childcare in our community and across Ohio just creates really an environment where it is not feasible for you to go to work when you would have to be paying such high costs for your children to be taken care of. So with that in mind, we had a few recommendations around childcare. The first is to partner with Fairfield County Economic and Workforce Development to promote the childcare services in the community available at the YMCA with a workforce lens being implemented. So Jason and his team have done a great job already. I know that there have been conversations with our department about how do we, find innovative ways to provide childcare to folks in our community. They're already doing before and after school childcare at some of our county schools, which is a great first step. But really the recommendation is to continue that partnership and continue looking for innovative ways to meet the childcare needs in our community. The second recommendation is a bit of a bigger undertaking. So it is to create a program similar to the corporate partnership gym membership program. So currently the YMCA partners with employers throughout the community for gym memberships at the YMCA. The idea here is that the Y would partner with employers, and the employer would use YMCA childcare as an employee incentive, where the employer would actually pay a percentage of the employee's childcare, so long as it was being provided by the YMCA. So that we help the Y increase their childcare services, but also meet that community need that we have been discussing so far. And finally, we just want to say thank you to Jason and Taylor for all of their input. They were fantastic throughout this whole process, provided us everything we needed. We're very receptive to all of our recommendations, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well done. All right, well done, team.
Usually on the with this, I click the same 4 pages already. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Well done. Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good job, guys. All right, I'll go ahead and invite our next team up that worked with a nonprofit called Kids Get Cancer Too.
You can either use this.
Okay, and that's forward.
Here.
And that's forward. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Travis. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jill Williams, and I'm with Fairfield Homes. Here on my team, I have Tia Dotterman. She's with Visit Fairfield County. We also have Mitch Harden with the City of Lancaster, and also Nate Kinsey with the City of Lancaster. So our group was paired with Kids Get Cancer Too, which is a nonprofit group committed to supporting families who are experiencing pediatric cancer. The support that they provide is described in their mission statement, which is to provide financial, emotional, and spiritual support for any family with a child in active cancer treatment. The group was founded 40 years ago, and they're currently made up of a board of all volunteers, 8 members. And they previously hosted fundraising events, but now they're really looking to cut back on those costs and focus more on prioritizing monthly donors. So as we worked with KGCT, we learned about some of their challenges and their goals. Their main challenge is to really just raise awareness, get the word out about them, and also to show their donors and future donors where those dollars are going. An additional challenge that they have is just simply obtaining recurring donors, and they do currently have a goal in place, just to kind of start them out, of obtaining 100 monthly donors at $20 a month. So with those challenges, that helped us create our proposal, and we really want to help the organization create a scalable and self-sustaining plan to raise awareness about the organization. We also want to help them generate dependable sources of future income. So this would be done through a 2-phase plan. The first part of it would be to raise brand awareness and visibility, and also provide networking and fundraising opportunities for the group. So looking into our proposal a little bit deeper, the first step is to really raise that awareness and visibility. This would be done by developing a strategic plan to increase their following on social media, and also spread brand awareness. And this was done through our performing of a SWOT analysis of their social channels. And we also look to create a digital marketing and social media campaign. The second phase of that, the networking and funding, in order to help them with that, we've identified some local civic organizations that will not only, get them connected in the community, they can also help them increase awareness and focus on those potential recurring donors. So our goal here was to really introduce them to organizations, get them meetings with different organizations and individuals in the city that might help them get those recurring donations. I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Tia.
All right, so good afternoon, everybody. I'm going to jump in with a SWOT analysis. We kind of decided to do this social media audit because they already have these social channels in place, but we want to look at what they can do better or what they can improve on, and what are some opportunities for them to grow, to raise awareness and also grow that base of recurring donors. So a SWOT analysis looks at 4 things. It looks at strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That's what SWOT is. So just right off the bat, some strengths that they have, they already have these accounts accounts in place, and that is great. And they have a solid following too. So as you can see up on our screen here, they have over 1,000 followers on Facebook, which is great. Some weaknesses that we might have identified, though I use weaknesses very lightly. I think weaknesses are more just, again, opportunities, just to do better and to improve. So with their Instagram handle, it is Kids Get Cancer 2 2023. Our recommendation is to take the year out of that. It became very difficult to find that profile on Instagram, and it's 2024, so it's just not quite relevant anymore. So removing that will give them a higher visibility on Instagram, and it'll be easier for people to find them. Along with that, a lot of their posts on Instagram are very graphic heavy. We know that to not perform very well. So using photos and videos, which we'll talk a little bit later, will really boost their engagement and increase the shareability of their content. Some opportunities that they have would be to lean on their network. So we talked about they have 8 board members. And with that, they can encourage board members to share their posts. They can lean on their friends and family to also share their posts. And that will just, increase engagement, increase their reach. So more people are learning about this organization. On Facebook, we recommend that they share a link to donate on every relevant post. They were there, but I think having that on more posts will encourage people to click on that link, share those posts, and get that increased donorship, making it easy to find the page where they would go to donate. Utilizing stories on both Facebook and Instagram will help them stay on top of their users' feed, which is always a good thing. And stories, because they sit there at the top, people will click on them, they'll look at them. And again, having that link be super visible so that people can just go to the donation page right then and there. And something that we think will be monumental will be sharing testimonies of these children and these families that are going through pediatric cancer or have gone through it. These testimonies are powerful, and just sharing those stories with your followers, whether that's through video, which again will be very powerful, whether that's a voiceover or a montage of photos, or having families submit their own videos, perhaps a before and after, or how Kids Get Cancer 2 helped them afford some treatment, among other things. These stories are powerful, and they should be utilized in a way that will encourage people to share, with their own friends and family, and empower them to want to donate. A threat that we saw was not posting regularly. And I think a very easy and simple way to get around this would be to use a scheduler. Try to post about 2 or 3 times a week, again, staying on top of people's feed, and getting that engagement rate up. There are schedulers like the Meta Business Suite, which is really easy. It's built into Facebook and Instagram. But there are also alternatives like Loomly and Hootsuite. So digital marketing is not just social media. There are other opportunities, and one of the things that I wanted to highlight was their website. So they are doing a little bit of renovation to their website now. I just had a couple of other things I'd like to add, and I'll show you here in a second what it looks like currently, and then sort of what I'm proposing. But currently, the website is very text-heavy upon entering. I think having more visuals, having buttons be more prominent, whether that's to donate, become part of a monthly newsletter, etc. So I think just a better organization of the homepage will help set them apart. So this is what it looks like just for context. The text is kind of small. There are some images, but it's not immediately prevalent, like how to donate or how to get involved. And actually, another suggestion that we had was to add an Our Story section, just kind of detailing the history of the organization in a really personable way. What I am proposing, this of course is just a rough draft, but something along the lines of having a big hero image along with the logo, making the mission statement absolutely front and center so we know, what this organization is all about. And of course, most prominently on the screen, we want to see a button to register with them, a button to donate or support the organization, as well as a button to subscribe to the newsletter to stay informed with this organization. We also want to see testimonies again. And then they already have a gallery on their homepage, so I think that that's great, and I think that they should keep it. And we'll have those links to those social channels we talked about earlier on the bottom as well. So with that, one of the things that we also looked at was, in terms of getting donors, like how do we get them, how do we keep them, and how do we show our appreciation for them? And so we kind of looked at incentive programs, and they do have this in place, more so for organizations. It has 4 levels, and it starts at $100, and it goes up to $10,000. So I think to bring this to an individual level, you can look at social media spotlights, whether that's they donated X amount of dollars, and so they get a highlight, or if they signed up to become a monthly donor. Another idea, and one that I'm really excited about, is sending handwritten letters and postcards. My inspiration from this actually came from something like Locks of Love. When you donate your hair, you get a postcard, and it's just a really nice memento, and you made a difference in someone's life. I think on that postcard or on that letter, there should be a QR code to sign up for the newsletter and stay informed and, encourage them to become a reoccurring donor. I also thought about a campaign in which we could look at the smiles generated. How much of an impact is this organization having, and how many smiles can you contribute? This is just a really easy visual way that could be shared on social media or via the newsletter to kind of show people, the difference that they're making. And with that, I am going to hand it off.
One of the other strategies that we decided to implement was the engagement of local civic groups like the United Way, Rotary Club, and the Fairfield Foundation and the Kiwanis Club. Not only are these a great place to build your donation base, but they're also a great place to share ideas and maybe some challenges that the organization is facing. How do I advance that?
You just hit it again.
Okay. The other strategy was to implement a donor management software, and it would be our suggestion to use software called Bloomerang. This software is specifically geared for smaller nonprofits. It has a very low introductory cost, provides a very robust dashboard system that really takes the burden off the nonprofit from manually tracking their donors to tracking that fully online. One of the other things is that it provides broad customer service support, which at times can come in handy. Thank you. Mitch.
Okay. So just to kind of recap, just want to talk about what we've accomplished together with the Kids Have Cancer 2 team. So first off, one of the first things that we've seen as an accomplishment as the mission statement on their website has been reformatted to a more appropriate mission statement, one that is actually more current with their current goals. And things like that. I didn't put it on here because I want you all to go onto the website and actually check that out for yourselves. But we're happy with that. The Kids Get Cancer 2 team, they've also met, obviously, as Nate said, with multiple leaders in the community, multiple organizations, with the idea that their ultimate goal is to try to bolster that base of donations and people who are aware of their program. And finally, like we've been talking about, the social media strategy with this team is going to be extremely important because that's your bread and butter. That's going to be where everyone is at who is going to be looking at your program, learning about who you are, and ultimately, hopefully, donating and spreading more awareness. So, obviously, our recommendations continue to use that SWOT analysis to boost engagement. Maybe don't put a bunch of stuff on TikTok because I think we're banning it or something. I don't know, but maybe use Facebook and Instagram for there. Revamp the website, just like we talked about, and continue networking with these local organizations. And also the incentive program. The sky's the limit for that. The handwritten letters are obviously a really good idea. But the idea behind that is that it's something tangible that somebody who is donating can get back that ultimately doesn't cost the group any money, which helps. So real quick, audience participation part. Can everyone get their phones out? You're already on them now, so it's fine. But so we'd like you all to go to kgct.org if you'd like to learn more, and please donate. Thank you on behalf of the team. Thank you to the foundation, Kids Get Cancer 2 team. Thank you all for being here. Our sponsors for sending us. Thank you.
Well done, guys. Good job. Well done. Hang tight for just a second. They'll get your certificates for you.
Thank you very much. Slow down. Thank you.
Oh, she's taking
a picture.
Good presentation. Thank you. Great job.
Good job, guys. Thank you.
Hold on.
One more. Okay, one more.
All these employers.
Good job. Yeah. All right. At this point, we'll continue on with our presentations. We have a couple more here. I'd like to invite the team up that was working with the Lithopolis Honey Fest.
Good afternoon. I am Holly King. I am the Assistant Branch Manager at the Friendly Bremen Banking Center. The nonprofit we were assigned is the Lithopolis Honey Fest. Their mission statement is to educate visitors about the art and science of apiculture. Bees have a significant role for many reasons. They have a historical importance and contribute to human health, but the honey is not the most important role of honeybees. They play a significant role in the pollination of plants, flowers, crops, but they have a vital role in our food supply. We know that Kelly and Tamasha have poured their heart into this festival, and we would like to see nothing more than them to succeed for many years to come. Ooh. So the festival was established in 2007 as a way to celebrate National Honey Month. The Lithopolis Honey Festival was held the first weekends after Labor Day and has grown in attendance to over 10,000 people. The two-day event is held from 3 to 7 p.m. on Friday evening and then from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday. It takes place right in the streets of downtown Lithopolis, and it is currently the only honey festival held in the state of Ohio. The festival is free and offers free parking and a free shuttle service.
So I am Tracy Oppenheimer. I am a paralegal with attorney Jennifer Sitterly, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit about what the Honey Fest involves. So it is, as you would expect, all things honey and bees. There are honey tastings. They have a food court that has lots of food made with honey. You can view live honey extractions. They have daily educational sessions where you can learn about beekeeping, honeys, all that fun stuff. They currently have around 100 volunteers that assist. They rely on donations and sponsorships, of course, to help them fund the event. There are numerous food trucks, over 100 arts and crafts exhibitors, live music and entertainment. They have several beekeeper vendors, and of course, those wonderful people wearing those bee beards. There are activities for kids, lots of activities for kids. They can take a ride on the bee train or spend time in the busy beehive, creating arts and crafts, taking selfies, just being a kid while their parents are out enjoying the Honey Fest. The festival offers a honey bake-off, a photography contest, and a honey competition with cash prizes paid out in every category. It is pet-friendly, kid-friendly, and completely ADA accessible. So I'm going to turn it over to Megan for some challenges. I didn't hit the down button, sorry.
Okay, I'm Megan Burge. I'm an attorney with Dagger Law. So Kelly and Tamasha are essentially the queen bees. They deal, sorry for all the bee puns, we just have to do it. Just suffer through with us. So they deal with a lot of stress. They take a lot of time away from their families to put on this wonderful event for the community. So we really wanted to try to help them and take the load off them a little bit, as much as that's possible. So the main challenge for the HoneyFest team is obtaining and maintaining sponsors and obtaining donations to maximize cash flow. Kelly specifically mentioned that it was difficult to both find new sponsors and to maintain sponsorship year to year, as well as to get past the gatekeeper to speak with the person actually able to authorize sponsorship at each business. So this is the sponsorship form used by HoneyFest. We as a team felt like this was a little bit too much information crammed onto a piece of paper. It might lead to a reluctance by businesses to actually consider what HoneyFest is wanting from them. No one really has the time to get into the nitty-gritty. You have to hook them first, and then you can follow up with more thorough information. So Kelly and Tamasha sent us the 2023 HoneyFest income and expenses, and there's no profitability, unfortunately. HoneyFest actually operated at a $10,397 deficit. The expense for the banquet, which is used to thank volunteers, is a whopping 38.7% of the total income brought in by sponsorship last year. So that money is not being put into operating the Honey Festival at all. Sales of merchandise only brought in $2,123. Merchandise sales at other festivals drive significant income streams, but that's not the case here. So here are the suggestions our group brainstormed to help keep HoneyFest buzzing for years to come.
My name is John Sheridan. I'm with Lancaster City Schools Career Tech Education. I promise we're almost done with the bee puns. They're almost there. So it's my job to kind of give the suggestions, what all we came up with. Our group met several times to kind of go through things and see what we thought would be the best thing to do. So the suggestions are to expand the levels of sponsorships and donations. It is our belief that there is a missed opportunity to offer lower levels of sponsorships and donations. By offering those lower level ones, other businesses may actually be able to do it rather than going for the higher donations and things and sponsors. That would actually maximize cash flow as well. As a group, when we met, we came up with 50 potential businesses and organizations that may be ready to donate or to help out with things that could become sponsors, which would potentially give them a total of 50 new businesses to partner with. Those potential donors that we came up with are breweries, wineries, landscaping companies, greenhouses, farms, the Ohio State Extension Office, Ohio Department of Natural Resources, and the National Bee Honey Organizations, among others. As we mentioned, as Megan mentioned, we thought that it would be good to revamp the donation form. With all that buzzing around that they did, it would be hard for people to kind of see the roses through the thorns, right? So it might be good to limit some of the things that they have. Raise the price of merchandise that is sold at the event. We looked at the profit and loss categories came up with some of the ways that we could bring in more income to cut costs moving forward. We suggested raising the price on merchandise that they're selling at the festival, potentially bringing in an increased profit of $1,585. And raising vendor and concession fees, potentially bringing in a profit of $3,350. We also thought that it would be good to make Beehive donation boxes or QR codes that go to Venmo, as many of the other groups suggested as well. So we suggested placing those Beehive donation boxes or QR codes for Venmo or Cash App kind of around where the festival is. The majority of the people that come to the festival are not high-level donors. However, they may be willing to give some money if it's just a little bit at all, right? And as we said, there's about 10,000 people that come through this festival, and operating on a $10,000 deficit, they said that there was 10,000 people that came through. So even if every person gave $1, their deficit's kind of wiped out, right? Utilize youth groups or vocational schools. We suggested implementing local 4-H clubs, local Boy Scout groups, Girl Scout groups, the vocational schools to help with cleanup, security, things like that around the festival. Utilizing these groups will also help to cut the costs. Create a 50-50 raffle. It takes minimal effort to put on. You don't have a lot of volunteers that have to go around and do things with it. Winners do not need to be present. And that 50-50 raffle could bring in a significant amount to help out with the costs. The Friday portion of the festival. So it is a 2-day, as we talked about. We have Friday from 3 to 7 p.m. However, due to the amount of work that goes into getting everything set up on Friday, our suggestion was to do away with the Friday portion of the festival. By doing that and focusing just on Saturday alone, it gives you one less day that you have to scramble around and find the maintenance and clean up and all the other things. So it allows you to be more free to do things for Saturday. And the last one that I have, significantly reduce or completely remove the banquet. The biggest expense for the Honey Fest is the volunteer banquet held every year. It is held at the Old Blue Rooster. The facility is donated to them. However, they have to pay for the caterer, rent the linens, and cover the bar costs, which is 1 drink ticket per person. The Honey Fest also provides dessert, coffee, soft drinks, and has a band. The banquet cost, as we were told, was around $5,400 to hold. Our suggestion is to do away with the banquet and thank the volunteers during the festival. The festival brings in roughly $37,000 and costs roughly $47,500 to hold. They're showing a deficit of over $10,000. If the banquet is removed, this would reduce the deficit to $4,600, which is much more of a manageable amount to overcome, especially if the other suggestions we have made are implemented. While having the banquet for the volunteers is a great gesture and I'm sure is very appreciated, it is not something that is really necessary. In a 10-year projection, the projected overall cost of the banquet, assuming the cost stays at $5,400, having the banquet would cost them about $54,000 to hold over those 10 years. And unless the profits rise significantly, the Honey Fest as a group does not have the funds to continue to have a banquet of this nature. In general, most people volunteer because they believe in what you're doing, right? They don't volunteer to have a banquet. So keep that in mind as you're going through things. And now to...
Sorry, we suck at advancing the slides. So these are some of the potential new sponsors that we came up with. Kelly and Tamasha will get you this list. So these are comprised of businesses we thought would be more likely to offer sponsorships and or in-kind donations, whether due to geographical proximity to Lithopolis, alignment between the Honey Fest mission and the type of business that it is, et cetera, et cetera. So you can see, Orchard Lane Apiary, Brewdog, the Witten Farm Market. You wouldn't have that farm market if it weren't for the bees, right? Bee Apothecaries, some of these I just thought were cute, so.
Hi, I'm Blake with Park National Bank. So in recap, we really identified the negative cash flow as probably the biggest issue for the Honey Fest, and most of our suggestions really revolve around overcoming that negative cash flow and really letting them kind of build cash reserves year over year. So some of the suggestions that we've made, they've already been implemented, such as a lower sponsorship level underneath that $100 mark. We've also suggested raising the fees for the artists and concessions booths, which we've been told they have. We've also made further suggestions to implement, such as cost eliminations with the banquet, as we said, and also some additional sources of revenue, such as those donation boxes. So as a group, we believe that if all these suggestions are made, cash flow could improve by around $25,000 year over year. So thank you for listening to our presentation. Save the dates, September 6th and 7th. That is the days for the Honey Fest for this year. Thank you.
Well done.
Yep.
Well done. Thank you.
Yes.
You're Howard, guys. Well done. Great suggestion, great presentation.
It's a bee. Oh, Lord.
I was gonna point that out.
I saw what you did.
I didn't
I didn't have
No.
stripes.
Great job. Congratulations. Very nice. Good job, guys.
Well done. All right. Okay. And last but not least, our final team, the Toys for Tots team.
Just the arrows? Okay. So we can use the arrows or the clicker, so I'll just use the arrows. Good afternoon, everybody. We were blessed to work with the Toys for Tots gals, Taronda and Michelle, sitting right here for our nonprofit project this year. Representing us is Taylor Beeler from the YMCA, Ken Westonhouse from Connection West, Maria Westney from Fairfield County Protective Services, and Jamie Ihorn from the Fairfield County Health Department, and myself, Dawn Walker from Fairhope Hospice and Palliative Care. I'll go over with you just a little bit of the mission of Toys for Tots and their history. The mission is to collect new and unwrapped toys to distribute these toys to underserved children around Christmas time. Their goal is for the Marines Toys for Tots, through the gift of a new toy, they can help bring joy to Christmas and during Christmas and send a message of hope to the America's less fortunate. So in 1947, the Toys for Tots was founded by Bill Hendricks in Los Angeles, and that was about 5,000 toys, and that was just in that city. So by the time the next year rolled around in 1948, that was expanded throughout all the U.S. Marine Corps, throughout the United States, to start their own, what they call now, hubs, to provide toys for less fortunate kids. And then by the time we get into, you'll see a little timeline. We skipped a few years. But by 2022, they celebrated their 75th year, which was really huge. And in that 75 years, in the year of 2022, they delivered 24.4 million toys to 9.9 million children. So it's pretty significant. But through our work with the Toys for Tots ladies, there's a lot of issues that you may or may not know about. You know, their hub is at the River Valley Mall, and there's been a lot of controversy over that and issues with them. So they've had a lot of things happen to them just over the last 6 months we've been involved in this. So I'll let Jamie come up and talk about the local impact and what they do for the area, and then we can go on with what our mission for them is.
So the Toys for Tots warehouse in Fairfield County actually covers more than just Fairfield County. So they serve 5 other counties: Licking, Perry, Pickaway, Hocking, and Ross counties. All of the distribution happens out of the Fairfield County facility, but they do cover all of those counties. So in October of each year, applications open, and families can go online and fill out an application so that their children can receive toys for the upcoming Christmas season. Each child can receive up to 3 toys. So just to give you an idea of the volume, in 2023, they distributed over 78,000 toys, supporting over 39,000 children. Like that, to me, is a ton of toys. So let's see. The toys are received into the warehouse a few different ways. So the United States Marine Corps Reserve Foundation provides toys, and I'm assuming that's probably their biggest way of receiving the toys. So they arrive in trucks, on pallets, in big boxes. They also receive community donations, so the coordinators will deliver boxes to businesses around the community who will then collect donations from employees or the public coming into their businesses. And then throughout the year, the coordinators will also purchase toys if they run across a clearance or sale items. And so those are all the ways that the toys come into the warehouse. So once they're received into the warehouse, volunteers will organize and stage those toys for distribution. So they're organized by age category or toy type. So they may have toys for 5 and 6-year-olds in this area, and they may have books over here and bikes over here. So they will organize and stage them so that families can come in and have kind of a shopping experience. So similar to going to like a Target toy store. And then, so what the challenge for them is actually knowing what inventory they have. So they don't currently have an inventory system, so they don't know if they have enough toys to match the applications that are coming in. Can they fulfill the needs for all the kids in the community who have applied for toys? So that was our goal, to assist them in maximizing their impact by helping them establish an efficient way of taking in the toys, tracking the toys, and then distributing them. And I'll turn it over to Taylor. He's going to talk about the inventory system that we're recommending.
So given that challenge, excuse me, we found Sortly. Sortly is an all-in-one, all-encompassing solution for inventory management. So pretty much gone are the days where an organization will need to purchase expensive equipment, hardware and software. This is done by using any modern smartphone. We estimate that the cost, depending on the season, will be around $2,000 a year. And we also believe that with how intuitive this system is, it'll be easy to train all your volunteers. With that, I'll turn it over to Maria.
As Taylor mentioned, the Sortly software would be a good asset to you and the families within Fairfield County and the other 5 counties that you guys assist with in tracking the Christmas inventory coming in and out. Sortly costs, like Taylor mentioned, approximately $2,760 per year. That is unlimited access. You're probably wondering, how in the world am I going to come up with $2,760? So we have the opportunity to look at some grants. We found about 12 grants that might be applicable. We did provide you a list of those grants. The ones that we focused on was the South Central Power Grant. They have a grant where all of their South Central Power members can round up their bill, and that additional money that they have goes back into the community and into grants. And so this South Central Power Grant is located online. It's simple. We went through it. We provided you guys with a rough draft of what we did. We went through all the different areas. Additionally, what you'll want is an itemized bill of Sortly, which we also provided to you guys to upload for this grant. And last but not least, you'll want to make sure you upload a most recent financial statement. It takes about 30 days to process this grant. We were thinking if you could have the grant completed and submitted by July 1st, that would give you until about August 1st, hoping that you get approved for the grant. To where from August until October, you guys can get familiar with the Sortly software. You can start tracking your inventory, what you already have at the warehouse before additional donations come in and go out. And then you guys can also, again, just be prepared for October 1st when the application for Toys for Tots opens, and you get that going. I did not push the slide. I'm sorry. So this is the South Central Power Grant that we discussed. Again, you're going to want to make sure that you apply online. We also provided you with that link as well to get online. And again, you'll just want to upload the application, submit the application, upload those 2 documents in hopes that that could be uploaded and approved by August 1st to give you enough time to get things going. These were the 12 grants that we discussed and provided to you guys, which we think would be super helpful for you guys to review and look at. Some of the next steps that we thought that you guys could start working towards is contacting Abby King with Fairfield Foundations to discuss your grant opportunities. You can also get on South Central Power Grant and submit that grant. And then there also is a free trial of Sortly that you can get onto www.sortly.com and kind of navigate your way around, see if that software works for you. And that's all we have.
All right, well done. As we pass out the certificates, we'll wrap up here since we're running over just a little bit. But I really want to congratulate all our participants in Fairfield Leadership this year. I think we can all agree that they've done a wonderful job assisting our nonprofits, and really that's become a real special part of this program is the ability to introduce some of our new leaders in our community to nonprofits. Oftentimes they create a remaining relationship with these nonprofits and end up getting invited onto their board of directors, end up volunteering, and it's really a great matchmaking process, if you will. So congratulations, guys. Congratulations to all our participants. Again, thank you so much. If you're an employer out there that has sponsored a participant this year, we can't thank you enough for the time you've given your employees to come out with us. And again, I do want to thank the Fairfield County Workforce Center, which we've been here all year. I do want to thank, again, all our guest speakers and presenters, our moderators, and the chamber staff. And so hopefully you'll look for information coming out in next year's program. We'll start sending information out in probably about July. Again, the program starts in September. If you have other employers that are employees that you would like to put through the program, we would be happy to have them. And if you can think of any others that would be a good fit for our program, please send them our way. Thanks so much for spending the time with us today. For the participants, we want to get a big group picture. And then if you have time with us this afternoon, we'd like to spend some time kind of celebrating our accomplishments for the year over at Outer Belt. Okay? Thanks, everyone.